I just love Fridays. Fridays are the best day of the week, bar none. Tomorrow it's the weekend. Tomorrow we've got a great interview dropping with a former vice president of Walt Disney Corporation who's going to be on the pod.
You've clearly told Emily about this interview.
Yes.
She asked me if I listened to it.
Yeah. Okay.
She's a little bit nervous.
Oh, because I asked him about Roblox. I just said one word answer, yes or no.
She's like, maybe you don't need to listen to that one, Mum.
Is that right? She's still begging for it. I just told her, no, not going to happen. But the main reason that I love Fridays is because this is the Happy Families podcast episode where we talk about what went right or what went wrong in the week just gone. We deconstruct it and we talk about how we can make our families happier by being more intentional, learning the lessons of the week that just was. So we're really glad to have you along for the Happy Families podcast. It's where we give you real parenting solutions every day on Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson. Kylie.
Last week on the pod, we interviewed, well, actually you interviewed.
Yes.
Michelle Mitchell.
Yes.
In relation to her book, Where Do Babies Come From?
So this is a book for 8 to 12-year-olds so that parents know how to have the talk. Yes, I did.
And we did share the story where one of our children, literally, when they were learning for the very first time about where babies came from, looked at you and I and said, do you mean you've done this 4 times?
Yeah, so we were talking to our eldest. She had 3 younger sisters. She's done the maths really quickly and gone, oh my goodness. So we jumped onto Facebook, shared the story. And it was just such a funny moment. And we said, what is the funniest or most unexpected thing that your child has said when learning about intimacy and how babies are made? And you did not disappoint. I just want to read, Kylie, you don't know what these are. I just told you that we had them. So I'm going to share what happens when we ask our Facebook community to tell us the funny things that happened when they were having these conversations with their kids. Sarah said, when explaining breastfeeding, my 9-year-old said, please tell me I was bottle fed. Here's the next one from Tamara Thompson. My 5th child was 10 when we fell pregnant with her little sister. When she announced to her class that we were having another baby, she quickly added, but don't worry, they did IVF. They definitely did not do it. One of my favourites came from Isabel, who said, when our eldest was 4, she asked the questions. We gave her the answers using anatomically correct names, a matter-of-fact discussion. She then asked if she could please watch next time we make another baby.
Oh, no way.
I mean, she was 4, right? So you can allow that. Another one that cracked me up was from Andrea. Child 1 said 2 things. 1, I wish I'd never asked. And 2, I hope you're not going to do that again. Child 2 said, don't worry, we're twins, remember? They only had to do it once and that was it. I just love this stuff. We had so many come through, like really, really, really fun conversation. I actually got a text from Michelle Mitchell. She said that podcast episode really had an impact. Because our shop went bonkers when it dropped. And I'm so glad. She deserves it. She has written a book that I truly believe if you want to know how to have this conversation with your kids and do it in a really positive, fresh, helpful way, they're the books that you've got to buy. I don't get any kickbacks. This is not sponsored. Michelle doesn't even know that we're talking about this again today, but the books that she's written, they're available at her shop. Just type in Michelle Mitchell into Google and you can go to the shop and find them. The book's about puberty, The Girl's Guide and The Guy's Guide to Puberty, and the book Where Do Babies Come From? And other questions 8 to 12-year-olds ask. I just think that they're must-haves. If you're a parent, you just got to buy them.
You know you're on a good thing when your 11-year-old picks it up of her own free will and just wants to have a read.
Yeah.
She loves them. And when she saw the new book sitting on my bedside table, she was like, oh, she did another book. She was so excited.
So, Michelle, if you hear this podcast episode, you're welcome. And
Emily's your number 1 fan.
She really is. She just thinks you're great. Okay, let's talk about I'll Do Better Tomorrow. Kylie, I'm going to jump in and kick on with my one first because mine's a good news story. And I think that it's nice to go into the weekend knowing that there's room for improvement. And I know from what you've told me that you're going to be reflective and give us room to improve. So very, very briefly, recently when I was in Sydney, I caught up with somebody who was having a really tough time with their child. It's not an over-exaggeration to say that this child had been hospitalised and was dealing with a persistent desire to no longer be in this family and to be alive. This child was really, truly struggling in the deepest and most profound way. About 14 years old, little boy. And I sat down with his dad. His mum couldn't make the conversation, but I sat down with his dad and we had a long chat. It's rare that I get the opportunity to do this, but it just felt like a real gift to be able to talk and listen and understand and be there. At the end of the conversation, they were already getting good help. They were signed up with some outpatient care with a hospital. But I said, in spite of everything that you're getting, there are a couple of things that stand out to me. Number one, I feel like one of the most important things you can have is something to look forward to, something to live for. And right now, after this conversation, I feel like he wakes up every day and there's nothing to look forward to. And I suggested, is there some way that you can get a weekend off or a day off, even pull him out of school for a day or give him a mental health day or whatever, and give him something to look forward to, whether it's a mountain bike ride or a surf or what is it that you do? And they talked it through and they said, yeah, we really do like bike riding. I said, so maybe go for a bike ride, go camping for a weekend, just do that. I said, there are two other things that are really important. Number one, relationship, and number two, being outside. I said, if you can build physical activity, relationship, and outside into his life and give him things to look forward to, they don't have to be expensive. They can be as cheap as anything. It's about getting out there and doing it. And I got an email the other day from this dad, and he said, hey, it's been a while since we chatted. I wanted to give you an update on my son. In short, in the past few months, we have seen a wonderful turnaround. I went from not even recognizing my boy when we last spoke to having our amazing, happy kid back. The hospital program was excellent at giving us support and tools that we needed, but probably the tool that has had the greatest effect was from you. Let's create our own purpose together. We've done this through mountain biking together, and it's been transformational. The trips, the trails, camping, the pizza afterwards, the car ride, watching YouTube videos, and so on. The intentionality of always creating something to look forward to has been a game changer. Lots more to say, but I can't thank you enough for your advice and being there when I really needed it. I'm sure there'll be ups and downs in the future, but we are so much better equipped to handle it now. I get a message like that and I just think, oh my goodness. So first of all, let me make it about me for a sec. It is so gratifying to know that I can help people. It's why I do what I do. But the thing that really touches me, the thing that I'm most grateful for is there's this teenage boy who doesn't feel like life is worth living. And with a couple of small and generous tweaks from his parents, they start to find something to look forward to together. They start to spend time in relationship. They spend time doing physical activity. And all of a sudden, life feels amazing. One more really interesting thing on this. I gave the dad a quick call and said, your email has just made my day. Thank you for sharing that. I said, tell me one other thing. How's he going with his screens? Because I didn't really talk about screens much in our conversation. But I knew that screens was also a problem. And at the heart of getting him outside, going and doing these trips and being with dad, what I knew would happen is that he's going to have reduced screen time. And dad said he's barely touched Fortnite since we started doing this. Like he's just not looking for that outlet anymore because he's got this new outlet that we're engaged in. And I just thought, yeah, you get kids off screens, you get them active, you get them outside, and it makes such a difference.
When I hear that story, what stands out to me the most is that for so many parents, we watch our children's behaviour, whether it's challenging in that he's spiralling down or they're angry and they're pushing us away. Our kids are desperate for our connection. They're desperate for it and they don't know how to ask for it. And it's not cool to ask for it and all of the angst that goes around it. And yet I would say that 99% of the challenges that our kids experience would change almost overnight if we took intentional effort to create connection.
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be challenges and sometimes it's not that easy. But this kid was in a complex and challenging situation. He'd been hospitalized and his parents really were wondering if he would wake up the next morning. Like it was extremely intense. Getting back to those basics, they're profound. They're so basic that we overlook them and we feel like we've got to go and have all these specialist appointments and things. And sometimes we do. But those basics are so profound. They're so impactful. And you get a letter like that or an email like that and you go, okay, let's go back to basics again. Things are falling apart. How can we get out of the house? How can we go for that walk to the park, to the beach, to the top of the hill? How can we go camping for a weekend? What do we need to do to slow it down and to make things feel natural and connected again? Anyway, that's my I'll do better tomorrow. It's not actually about what I've been doing at home with our family, mainly because I've been in Perth all week, but it does highlight just how impactful these changes can be when we truly connect, get active, and get outdoors with our kids. Okay, what's your bad news? What's your I'll do better tomorrow after everything has gone wrong this week?
Well, after last week's I'll do better tomorrow and having that beautiful conversation with our eldest daughter, melt your heart kind of stuff, I just was floating on cloud nine. It's hard to believe that I'm down in the valley right now, feeling like...
You can't live on top of the mountain. You got to come down to the valley.
Oh, it's been a hard week. It's been a really hard week. We have 4 cars in our house. You and I each have our own car because you travel so much. And then each of our teenage daughters have a car as well. And this week, for nearly 3 days, we were down to 1 car in our house, which meant I became everybody's taxi. I literally felt like I was in the car and I was going in every direction.
Yeah, and at random times as well. Right?
Yes, completely.
So our Year 10 daughter had a whole lot of practical stuff. So one morning she had to meet everyone at like 6 o'clock, nearly an hour away from here. Another morning it was at 9:30. Half an hour away from here.
But then needs pickups at different times. It's not like school times.
And that just annihilates your schedule. Absolutely rubbishes the routine.
Well, and it didn't coincide with anyone else's schedule. So I would literally have to go pick her up and come home and then go and get the other daughter who was in a completely different direction half an hour later. Like, it was just insane what I was trying to do.
And when the kids, I mean, like, you normally set your kids up to go to a school nearby because it's convenient. You don't have to do long drives. But all of a sudden you're driving 40 minutes there and an hour there and
then stuck in school traffic. I haven't had to do that for
life is so hard. First world problems.
But then on top of that, because we'd had a weekend away last weekend while you were speaking at the Key Assets gala night, it meant that I didn't do my usual Saturday shop and I didn't do any food prep. So we had no food in the kitchen. I didn't have any meal prep done or meal list done.
And because you're driving all over the countryside.
Blind.
Yeah, no time to go and do the shop because you're spending all day in the car driving kids around.
And then you add homeschool to it. And it has been an absolute schmozzle. And I was thinking about this idea of when we keep ourselves accountable and we look at what we're doing and we decide that we want to make these changes. So one of the biggest changes that we've chosen to make is to kind of live more on a raw diet, to involve more fruits and vegetables into our lives in a way that we've never done before. And we did so well for the first 2 weeks. Not only did the meals taste amazing, but we felt amazing. We felt an absolute change. Everyone did, including Emily. And then we've had a week like this. And it's so easy to feel like you've absolutely failed. Like all the wheels are coming off the wagon and there's no point of return here. We've completely thrown everything out that we wanted so desperately to implement. But so much of our week has been out of our control. A car in the shop that wasn't supposed to be in the shop for a week and a half, a car that needed servicing, all of the things. And family life is like that. But it just reiterated to me how important structure and routine is. And sometimes we don't have any control over whether we can have that structure and routine, but we can recognize the importance for it. So it's been a hard week. But the reality is I know how to get back on track.
Yeah, structure. Yeah.
And it just requires intention and refocus.
Okay.
And you need your car back.
Well, the good news is the car came back yesterday, so we are okay again. But you're absolutely right. Structure helps you to feel competence, right? When you feel competence, that basic psychological need, your well-being and your motivation go up. But when you do not have the structure, when you don't have the framework, when you don't have the boundaries, the guidelines, the formula, when the system breaks down, you feel incompetent and life is hard. And that's really what's happened this last week.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I really wanted to just reiterate is just when you're making change, it's hard to make it stick.
Yeah.
It's really hard, but don't give up.
Yeah. And
don't give up.
It's not just hard because of old patterns. It's also hard because life is variable and random and volatile and things happen that you're not expecting. It's great. I'll do better tomorrow. It's a great reminder about the importance of routine and structure. It really makes a difference to help your family to function well. I'm glad you shared that. And hopefully the take-home message from my story about the dad that I spoke to and his son. Hopefully that resonates as well, and it helps people whose kids are really struggling to just have a sense of where to go and what to do. I guess the hardest thing is convincing your kids to get on board with it. But usually if you're promising that you're going to take them camping or mountain bike riding or whatever it is, they usually feel pretty good about that. Hey, have a great weekend. Please listen to our episode tomorrow. Can't wait for you to hear the interview with Scott Novis, the former Walt Disney vice president, who is going to talk about kids and games and how to stop the problematic gaming in ways that don't require you to have a big war to turn off the TV or the screen. It's going to be great stuff. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rowan for Bridge Media. More information and resources to make your family happier, you can find it at happyfamilies.com.au.